Contradiction in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. The first interpretation and its criticisms. The genealogies of Jesus in Matthew and Luke are highly debated because Christian attempts to reconcile their differences are unconvincing and often contradictory. A direct comparison shows such major discrepancies that the two lists seem to describe different individuals. Since the inconsistencies span most of the genealogies, neither can reasonably be considered accurate. Because Christians believe their Holy Scripture is divinely inspired and free of contradictions, early interpreters sought to harmonize the two texts in various ways. The first explanation, and the most common among Christian commentators, is that Matthew wrote his Gospel for the Jews and therefore recorded Jesus' legal lineage through Joseph the carpenter, whereas Luke wrote for the Gentiles and thus recorded the natural or biological lineage through Mary. According to this interpretation, Joseph was considered the son-in-law of Heli, Mary's father. Main criticisms of this interpretation. There is no mention anywhere in the New Testament of Mary's genealogy, nor any textual evidence that Heli was Mary's father. This interpretation first appeared with John of Damascus in the 8th century. It was unknown in the early church and seems to have been a later attempt to reconcile the contradiction. Therefore, the claim that Heli was Mary's father is merely an assumption unsupported by any biblical text. If Luke had intended to indicate that Joseph was Heli's son-in-law, he would have said so explicitly. Instead, the text presents him as Heli's actual son, not his son-in-law. Moreover, there is no mention of Mary anywhere in the entire genealogy. If Luke had intended to trace Mary's lineage, it would have been natural to write, Jesus son of Mary, daughter of Heli. The attempt to resolve the contradiction by inserting Mary into Jesus' genealogy does not stand up to scrutiny. As soon as we reach Shealtiel, we encounter a discrepancy in the name of his father, bringing us back to the very same problem found with Joseph's father. Logically, the names from Shealtiel to David should correspond in both genealogies. Here again, it is untenable to suggest that one name refers to Shealtiel's father and the other to his father-in-law, as there is no biblical evidence to support such a claim. Even if we assume that Matthew traced Joseph's line while Luke traced Mary's, there remains a large chronological discrepancy between the two. Matthew lists 27 generations from David to Joseph, while Luke lists 42, a difference of about 15 generations between Joseph and the supposed Mary.